Okay, we are going to make a glass cup today and render it as glass and give it a little lighting, a little bit different lighting. So the first thing is to delete the cube. We are going to use a cylinder. So go up to your add menu or down to your add menu, mesh, and cylinder. Okay, first thing we want to scale this, so hit S to scale, but we don't want to scale the whole thing, we just want to scale it tall. So after hitting S, hit Z, and then it confines it to the x-axis. So about that big. Now if we go into edit mode, hit the tab key, get your face select, let's select the top, and hit S again to scale. We're going to scale it out a bit, so that it's a little bit bigger on top than it is on bottom. Okay. I like to select mine and bring it up above the mesh or the grid. Just personal preference. Okay, so there's the shape of the cup. Let's select the top and hit delete, and let's delete that face. And there's our cup, but it has no depth, of course, so we need to give it some depth. So let's extrude it. Select all by hitting A and then E, but after you hit E, just click your mouse. Don't move it. So now it's been extruded, but it's kind of just one layer right on top of the other. Let's scale that layer. S, bring it in a little ways, and it's got, we need to bring it up a little bit so it's flat on top. Okay, so there's the depth of our cup. There's a simple cup. Let's make it a little bit more complicated, or a little less simple, I guess. We're going to make this a little bit fancy. So let's come down here and select the bottom. We're going to extrude it a couple times. So you can do this how you would like, but I'll show you how I do it. So I extrude once, E to extrude, bring it down a little ways, and then I'm going to scale this down so the glass kind of comes down a little ways. And if I want it to be bigger or smaller, the extrude, I can just grab the translate tool. Okay, extrude again, E, oops, that's S. E, come down a little ways, and then S to scale. I'm going to pull this out now, and then E again to extrude, and then E again, S to scale. So I'm just kind of making a base here for my cup, because this is going to be a glass cup and we want it to be a little bit fancy. Okay, oh, that's a little crazy. Okay, I can adjust it a little bit. It looks like I don't know, maybe I extruded a little too far or made it a little too tall. So if I want to adjust it, I can get the edge select and do an Alt R on whichever edge I want. Actually, I'm going to go into wireframe mode and select all of it from that edge down. Just do this real quick. So then I'll come up with it. That's not what I wanted either. Okay. So you can kind of play around with it, but as long as you extrude a couple times and make a little base, then that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's it. Makes it a little bit more fancy. Again, you can grab these edge loops and scale a little bit differently if you want to make some adjustments to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, I've got my cup. That's all there is to it with the cup as far as modeling it. But we're going to make it glass, and so there's a couple things we need to do. First of all, smoothing it. So it's not, we want to make it smooth. So I'm going to go out, hit tab, out into object mode, and I'm going to get my modifier over here, the wrench, and I want to add a subdivision surface modifier to smooth it out. Now I'm going to make the render and the smooth the same, probably 3 is pretty smooth. Now that kind of messes up what I just did, and it takes away all the definition and just smooths it out, which is okay, but I want I want to see the couple levels of the base that I did. So what I'm going to do, first lift this up a little bit. I can toggle back, I'm going to toggle back and forth between object and edit mode here. So tab key, and also I'm going to change the view here back to 0. That way I can see, I can edit a little bit better. If I render it, it's still going to be smooth, but I want the view to be 0 because here it's a, well, I'll go back and forth. So anyway, first thing, in fact, I'm going to stay on the smooth view, and I want to keep this definition here. So first thing I'm going to do is do an edge loop. So Control R, and then I need to find the right spot. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom and click there and drag down. The closer I get this to an edge, the more definition it's going to give me, so it smooths less, which is what I want. It's still smooth on the corner, but I'll show you what it does. So I'm going to do another Control R and do one more on the bottom and come up close to that edge loop and click. And if I hit tab, I can kind of toggle in between, and now see I can see that base a little bit better, and it's not quite as smooth. That's what I want. So Control R, I'm going to come up here to this next level, do the same, come down towards the bottom, Control R, click, come up towards the top of that level, tab, so I can see what I'm doing. That looks a little bit better. A couple more. Control R, I'm going to come up into this section right here and drag down towards the bottom. One more in that section, come up towards the top. Okay, so that just gives it a little bit more definition. That's what I want, instead of just smoothing out the whole thing. So I like that. Now the last one is on the top. So if I come up to the lip, as you can see, the lip is kind of sharp. We don't want that. So I'm going to go back to edit mode and look how it's when I smoothed it, it pulled it way down. So if I do another edge loop, Control R, click, and then drag this up towards the top. If I go all the way to the top, it makes it flat. If I come close here, and then it will still be curved, I want to do one more on the inside as well. So here's the outside. If I come in a little bit, there's the inside. If I come all the way up, it's going to be flat, so I'll come down a little ways, make it curved. And see, the inside's a little bit more curved than the outside. Let me move that edge loop on the outside. So if I make sure I have edge select here, do an Alt, right click, and then just drag it down a little ways. Okay, so then it's a little thicker up top, but very smooth as well. Okay, there's my glass right there.